Really, unlike anywhere else in the country, 86% of the land area in the 5 Gulf states is under private ownership. So to be able to have meaningful conservation benefits at scale, it's important that we work in partnership with farmers and ranchers to implement different conservation practices on their lands.
In response to the BP oil spill, USDA NRCS used Farm Bill program dollars to partner with the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. We realized early on that working with the private landowners would be a way to accelerate restoration.
I have done different endeavors in my life, but I've always owned cattle. We were very fortunate to be able to do an easement agreement with NRCS. Just on our west side is the designated wild and scenic Mayaca River. We wanted particularly to protect those headwaters.
One of the things we always hear engineers say about wetland restoration is once you get the water right, then Mother Nature just has a way of putting things back together. In the southeastern U.S. and especially along the Gulf, the private landowners are the key. If we start returning those wetlands to the more natural state, the effects just flow downstream.
The approximately 1,700 acres of this easement sit directly within the Florida Wildlife Corridor. Those species live on private lands. Let's recognize what those ranchers do. What's it worth to society?
I've been farming since I was 11 years old. I worked in industry and farmed at night for years, but I just kind of reached a point that, hey, it might be time to retire. We're in the Fowl River watershed, and I'm just very interested in wildlife and anything to enhance the wildlife on the property.
The key to our mission with private landowners, we ask them what their goals are with the land that they want to achieve.
I want to be able to go down these lanes and see deer crossing and turkeys out there feeding. It's going to be a tremendous bedding area.
We're just south from Mobile, and everything around us is being converted to urban and homes, so it provides us opportunity to really protect something in an area that needs some open space like this preserve. We're helping people help the land. We can give them that advice, and we can offer financial assistance through programs to help them improve the land, and it ultimately improves their way of life.
This land that we own is paradise. I frequently tell people, come and be still, there is magic here. Every morning as the sun comes up, I look out over the hayfield and observe the wild turkeys, the sandhill cranes. Deer wander around my house all day long and all night long.
We first started working with the Jordan properties through a NFWF Southeastern Aquatics Fund grant to do technical outreach. And we invited landowners that had endangered species on their property to come talk to us. This 750 acres supports 14 federally endangered, threatened, or candidate species. Mississippi sandhill cranes, gopher tortoises, the flowering species, carnivorous plants. So conserving the habitats on this property is going to help a very large number of species that conservationists are concerned about.
It had been a great fear of mine to see this beautiful land developed. But through the Agricultural Land Easement Program of the USDA, the land is not going to ever be developed. This is a wonderful joy to a landowner.
With Gulf restorations across the 5 Gulf states in this tough economic environment, we typically meet the landowner where they are. working with landowners that may not be able to invest in conservation without these programs.
It's important for NFWF to be able to work with partners like NRCS to facilitate those local relationships on the ground, to be able to work with farmers, ranchers, and forest landowners to help them implement different conservation practices or even improve upon the management practices on their land.
I've been farming rice, soybeans, and crawfish since 2009, third generation farmer.
I grew up in rice fields and really just fell in love with the beauty of it. It's hot and humid, but it's a gorgeous place to be in the early morning, watching the wildlife fly over the water, fly over the rice fields.
With the rice and the crawfish, it's great habitat. There's food and vegetation for them to hide, and most days there's wood ducks out there, teal, whistling ducks, spoonbill, ibises, herons. Since 2009, I've hit some bad years.
At NRCS, our main goal is to address whatever resource concerns that are out there, whether it be soil erosion, soil health, excess water. We deal with the Environmental Quality Incentive Program a lot. That's our flagship conservation program.
The help we get from the NRCS is mostly funding. It helps out a lot. It's great to feed the world, be able to know that you're contributing.
You know, I was kind of one of those kids who found my way to ranching as fast as I could get there. I just have a love and passion for agriculture and being just a good steward of the land. You know, we're on the outside of Houston, and, you know, there's a lot of land around here that sells for development. Active landowners, they're going to do what they can to leave the land better than how they found it.
We're trying to maintain all the natural resources on farmers and ranchers' properties and giving them assistance through programs like EQIP. That's our Environmental Quality Incentives Program. We have critical area planting that helps wildlife.
Out here you can see anything from a coyote to a bobcat, all kinds of ducks, deer, you know, we can see it all here, and that's, you know, that's a beautiful part of it.
Conservation to me is just protecting what we have and making sure it's there for future generations to continue to use. So without the programs with NRCS or NFWF, properties like these probably would not exist in the state that they do exist now. It takes investment in the land to keep it and improve upon it.